Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. Sovereign men have strong minds. Now this is very important, and what do I mean by strong mind? They're thinkers. They ain't just somebody who just follow along. Now let me make a clarification because someone week or so ago it said, oh, those are the same traits as a sigma. First of all, I don't get into that whole alpha, beta, sigma thing anyway. They're also the same traits as an alpha. Get off of that. Sovereign man just means, very simply, you have control over your life. But in order to control over your life, you got to be a leader. Now, whether you're trying to lead a whole bunch of people, or you leading a few people, or you leading yourself, you still sovereign. Because if you're a man who stands up like that, he's going to be a leader anyway, whether he likes it or not. People are going to follow his example. That's why I ain't into all that alpha, beta, and the sigma, all that stuff, right? But the one thing is, he's going to have a strong mind. He's going to have a strong mind. And when I mean a strong mind, even when he practices whatever his religion is, his political philosophy, he's not just following along like a sheep. He is not going to follow along like a sheep. He's going to think about it. You know, you ain't going to be able just to get him, you ain't going to say stuff to him and he's just going to be like, okay. He's going to be like, hold up, let me think about that. Is that what this person is asking me to do in my best interest? You got to think about that. You got to think about that. See, a strong-minded person, you can't hit them with the okie doke. Or you can't really con them, you know, or you can't hit them up like, hey, I can, you know, hit them up with something like, well, yeah, I can do some thumbnails for you and everything. It ain't going to work with him. He going to be thinking about it, you know. Like strong-minded people, hard to con. They hard to just automatically convince. They ain't going to go for the okie doke. You try to hit them with some con or something like that, they're going to be thinking about it. They're going to be like, oh, hold up. Because see, a sovereign man means you're responsible for yourself. Being a sovereign man means that you have some control over your own agency. It means you have a strong mind. You know, and that's why I even tell people, no matter what I say, go out and see for yourself. I tell people, don't just follow me blindly. See, a sovereign man is never going to be a blind follower. Never. Never, because you can't. Because I'm going to tell you what, most of society, most of the culture wants you to follow their agenda. People want you to buy new clothes every year for a reason. That's their agenda. Or spend a whole bunch of money on something that's useless. That's their agenda. You know, a strong-minded man is going to think about everything he does, and he's only going to do it because he wants to do it. Everybody, every man who's sovereign, because think about something. When you sovereign, that means you take full responsibility for your life decisions. You're not going to be just going along, just doing whatever, you know? You ain't going to go along with do something because it's the trend or everybody else doing it this way. No, a sovereign man he's going to follow his own path. He's leading first himself. And then if anybody chooses to follow what he's doing, that's something else. But a sovereign man, he's in control of his own life. But you have to be, because otherwise, look, let's think about something. Everything you have out here, you got different groups, you got individuals. Everybody is trying to control you. Everybody's trying to control what direction you go in and everything. There was a video I just saw, and it was more on a political level, but it was the commenter. It was a young lady. She was trying to say, well, this is how you could stop this group of women from doing this, you know? And I'm like, nah, they ain't say the one thing. The women wanted to be free. See, if somebody come at you talking about, well, I'm going to change this and that, or I'm going to try to convince you, a strong-minded man, first of all, let me talk about that convince thing. A strong-minded man, you hit them with the argument, they're going to, at most, they're going to sit there and listen, but they ain't going to just follow along just because you say it. They're going to ask some questions. They are going to ask some questions because a strong-minded man is always going to ask why. Like a strong-minded man, they're going to look at my stuff. And they're going to question it. See, I don't mind if somebody questions. That's why I say, go out and see for yourself. Go out and try it for yourself. That's the most important thing. You don't want to be that type of man who's just going for the okie doke and he's just, you know, he following the crowd just to be with the crowd or something. Nah. He's going to think about it. He's going to do it. Once again, that's why I say I ain't into that alpha, beta, sigma, and all of that. A strong-minded man is just him, and any man can be sovereign. That's why I ain't into that hierarchy thing. Any man can be strong-minded, but unfortunately, we don't have a bunch of strong-minded men out here. Unfortunately, a lot of men, they just following along, or they following certain people or trends and everything. And if you ask them, well, why are you doing this? I don't know, just following along. That's some sheep shit. See, a sovereign man ain't gonna be a sheep. A sovereign man gonna be a wolf. A sovereign man gonna stand up. If y'all really look at what I do, you know, I show an example of it. You notice I do things my way. I don't follow along. Just, okay, somebody else doing something a certain way. Like that situation I said, people always hit me up, well, hey, I can do some thumbnails for you or something. No, I can do for self. I'm not gonna put because I'm gonna think about it. I'm like, what I do works for me. See, a strong-minded man is always going to think about something. He ain't going to just follow something along. And that's the important thing. That's the important thing, because you got too many out here who not doing that. They're not thinking about stuff. And that's pitiful. I'm going to tell you what, that's pitiful. And if you're serious about sovereignty, and like I said, sovereignty just means you got control over what you can control in your life, and you have leverage on the things you can't control. Like, no one controls 100%, even billionaires don't. Because, like, I use a billionaire for an example in that regard. If a billionaire come up to you and say, I'll give you $1 billion to, I don't know, let me perform sex acts on you. See, a strong man is going to be like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. That's against my principles. He's strong-minded, no matter what. A weak man will probably do it for $1 billion. A weak man. Yeah, and I said it just like that. A weak man, because he ain't thinking about his values, his principles, his control. Because then that other man has control over you. See, a sovereign man ain't going to allow that shit, you know? He ain't going to allow it. And yeah, some people might argue, well, what if he decided he wanted to do that? Yeah, but he was coerced to do it. Was he going to do it normally? Think about it. So that's the thing. That's the thing. See, you got to have a strong mind. Don't be a follower. Even when you support my channel, what do I say? Go out and see for yourself. You know, don't just take me at my word. Just go out and see. Does this work for you? Is this good for you? And everything. All right. So I want y'all to really think about that. I really want y'all to really work on your mind. Ask yourself, why are you doing certain things? Why are you wearing certain clothes? You know, are you following, or are you being yourself and you want control over what you're doing? All right? So anyway, that's all I have for now. Keep rising to become the sovereign man that you are meant to be. And I'll get back with you. Peace and blessings.